in your mind, we know it's not going to be the perfect open world Pokemon game. It's the first time they're trying it, right? We know it's not going to be perfect, but in your mind, what would make the perfect Pokemon game? Like, how would you conceptualize the perfect Pokemon game?
I think, again, I go back to just like the handheld versions. I think about even the oldies like Pokemon Yellow, Pokemon Red, Green. Like those games bring back nostalgia, and I think having that concept, but just in a grander scale, having it open world like we're having now with Arceus and bringing it more like story driven, right? Like I know Pokemon games have a story and they have that story driven thing, but they're also very repetitive in that sense, where you're going, you're this random guy going into other towns to get these 8 badges and stuff like that. We get that, right? But I wish they dived a little bit more into the story part and have like voice acting, for example, have cutscenes that are more like action sequences, kind of give your character a face, give your character something, a voice that distinguishes. Like I understand what you're trying to do, like you're supposed to be this character that you're playing, but probably don't do that. like give him a baseline, give him something that you can kind of go off of, and maybe that something that you can actually I don't know, kind of relate to, like have him have something that you can kind of relate to as the player. I think those things would really add more to the experience of a Pokemon game, making it open world, making it that cutscene, action sequence, like story mode heavy. That's kind of like what I want. Basically, what we've played for years now, but enhance that. And I think we're getting close to that with Arceus, but I don't think we're right there because they don't have voice acting. They don't have anything that really speaks to like who you are as a player. You're just a random like character,
Yeah, I think the story thing is definitely. I mean, there is a story in Pokemon, but the story tends to be the same. You're the kid,
right?
You get your 8 badges. There's a bad team, and they want to take over the Pokemon or whatever. And there's a legendary Pokemon they're trying to capture that legendary Pokemon and try to make it for evil use. And then you capture that legendary Pokemon possibly, and then you go into Elite Four. You beat it, become champion, and there's a post game where it's like now this is where you like kind of focus on collecting all the Pokemon and going through things you missed.
Think about if the game just took a little leap of faith where this bad guy in the game, right? This team steals one of your Pokemon. Like they just take one of your Pokemon, right? And you have to try to get them back. And they're like, you know what I mean? Like, wouldn't that enhance like your play through more? You would shit.
Feel more invested. You'd be like, oh no, I'm gonna go get him. Yeah,
like, yeah. Oh, and they're like, I don't want to make it that dark, but they're hurting your Pokemon and they're making him uncomfortable or her uncomfortable, and you're just like, these are really bad people. They're not like the fake bad that you have in like Sword and Shield, like, you know what I mean? Like I'm talking about like real, like, kind of like in the beginning, in the first Pokemon games, right? Like they see like Team Rocket felt more like evil than these characters now we have compared to like Sword and Shield.
Right. You got to be careful too because it is a kids game, right? Pokemon at its core is a kids game, so you have to kind of stay a little far away from getting too tough. You know what I mean? Too like, I want to say gritty. Yeah, you kind of want to stay a little hard. But think about the new Pokemon anime that came out, the Generations one.
Right.
How cool was that?
Right.
Where like the Pokemon battling, there's actually like story and there's voice actors. Do that. I think the voice acting thing is much needed for Pokemon. Like give the trainers life.
Yes.
It feels like they're just kind of like NPCs.
Right.
They are, but they're not pivotal. Like the champion doesn't feel like the champion that much because you don't see their emotions. You can't like read who they are. Whereas like at least in the show, okay, then you can kind of get a feel for what they are, and that's the only reason why I know like how they are, how what they're, how they feel.
Right. And I'm okay with having the whole 8 gym leaders. Like you still have to. There's a goal set where you have to get these badges and then go fight the Elite Four or whatever. I like that. I'm okay with that storyline, but just enhance it with a bunch of other stuff that surround that goal. again, that whole sequence with like the some type of team stealing your Pokemon and you have to capture it, like you have to try to get them back, like those things that can help enhance the gameplay for you, because you're getting an emotional attachment with your Pokemon, and you're feeling like shit, like they did this to my Pokemon, like I need to capture, I need to get them back, or something like that. Like I feel like that would really help steer the game in a better direction, especially the story.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna give you my thing. Okay. And the story, I think your thing was mostly story, like change up.
Yeah.
Give it some more story. Give it some voice actors. I think the gameplay needs to change a little.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
And Legends Arceus is changing this in a sense. You get to control your character, like your trainer, while the Pokemon's battling. Right. And then it goes to the traditional type battling, it seems like. And I know they put like new agile and strong style, but it's not that much different. But I would like it going more towards an action RPG route, where you actually get to control your Pokemon in battle, and you still get to use your attacks, but it's almost like Final Fantasy VII. Do you know how you can like go in and just use like a basic attack, but then if you hit like your R1, that's how you get your abilities once your thing charges up?
Yeah.
Similar to that, to where, okay, well, what if I just want to like scratch him with I just want to hit him with my basic attack, right? Mm-hmm. Obviously, it won't do a ton of damage, but then at one point when my meter fills, or when my, whatever, I can use Fire Blast, I can use Fire Spin or whatever. I think that would be super cool to be able to control these characters. And it doesn't have to be super advanced. Like, obviously, if I'm controlling a Caterpie, it's not going to be like controlling like a Dragonite or something, but
right.
Just give me limited options to actually be able to control these characters. I think that'd be really cool to have be perspective and battling as a Pokemon when you're in a fight, versus just being the perspective of the trainer. And then when the battle's over, you're back to the trainer.
I think what you're describing is a fusion between what my concept is and then yours being like Pokken Tournament, the game.
In a sense, yeah.
Because you can
Pokken Tournament, but not more fighter, more RPG.
Right, exactly. But
more of like
the
an
concept
action
of
RPG.
like you're controlling your Pokemon and you have these set moves. I think there's like 4 or 5 set moves that you can use for these Pokemon. That's kind of like what you're thinking about, which sounds fun. Is like that sounds fun as hell. That sounds like really cool. And then when you're done with the fight, you switch back to your trainer and then you continue on with your mission, right? Like that sounds cool. Like you're controlling both characters essentially, right? Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and even if they wanted to limit the amount of Pokemon you can carry, you don't have to go through all 6, you could just do 3. I'd be cool with that, but I want the Pokemon Company to continue, or Nintendo to continue to start pushing boundaries of Pokemon. Don't come out with Legend Arceus and stay safe with this is now the normal. We're just gonna do it like this forever, for 10 years. Like, keep trying to change it up for the better and make it more entertaining, because obviously you did something here and people are loving it. So that tells you that you're doing something right when you change it up.